Happy hump day. Ooh, no, you know what? I regretted that immediately. Hi, my name is Sarah Freshly, and welcome to Freshly Read. Yeah. It is day 3 of 5 reviews in 5 days, each under 5 minutes, and all from the International Booker Longlist. If you need a little refresher on what books I've already talked about and what books are yet to come, here is the full schedule. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So yes, today we are talking about Happy Stories, mostly by Norman Erikson Pasaribu and translated by Tiffany Tsao. If you frequent my channel, then you already know that I love a short story collection, so I was very excited when this one was on the list, and it was totally warranted because I really like this book. Already, the title of the collection is wonderful. I think it gets you a little curious about the stories, and it does a good job of being representative of the stories in this. Each of these stories is happy, mostly, in that each of them is tinged with this sense of sadness. It really shows that even though you can go through long periods of happiness or contentment, that even if there's just one small portion that's sad, if that thing that happens is bad enough, it can really dampen everything else that is a part of that. If you have a story that is happy mostly, then that little qualifier really means everything. It's about being so close to being a happy story. One thing that I loved about this collection was the interconnectedness of the stories. I didn't really notice it until late in the book, where it gets more obvious between the last couple of stories, but I think that if I were to go back and read again, I would find a lot more, and this is confirmed by a conversation that is printed in the end of the book between Pasaribu and Tsao. Pasaribu even talks about how he has more stories that relate to characters that show up in these stories, but he's not sure that they will ever be published. And I like the idea of an author that likes writing short stories, but they've also kind of got their own universe of characters that they like revisiting because maybe there's more to tell about their story. Now, speaking of the discussion portion from the end of the book, I did want to mention a quote from Pasaribu because this book has a lot of queer characters. That's a big part about each of the stories. I would say queerness probably shows up in almost all of these stories in one way or another, whether it's just something that is talked about or there is a character that isn't entirely heterosexual. And Pasaribu said something great in that discussion section that I just wanted to share. Hetero readers hate sad all the time fictional gays, but give zero effort to make us who are gay in the flesh happy. It's a sad irony. I thought that that was just a good thing to think about. Really, if you do end up reading this book, I would highly recommend reading the entire discussion in the back. It's just a great one, and it gives even more context for the stories, which was nice. I also wanted to mention the writing style because I was a huge fan of it. It's like sarcastic and like flirts with being meta in certain stories, which I really enjoyed. And the stories themselves vary like greatly in how they are told, what it's about. And even though it does, I think, all fit the theme of this collection, they feel so different that this book doesn't fall prey to something that I think a lot of short story collections can, which is like when the stories start to blend together too much and you can't think about them separately anymore. I didn't experience that at all with this book, which I think has got to be some type of feat because there's very few short story collections I can say that about. In fact, this collection reminded me a little bit of another collection that I really liked, specifically because of how different the stories were told. And I think that this is just a very little taste of what it's like to read brief interviews with hideous men, but this was one of my favorite books from last year by David Foster Wallace, I didn't say. So I think that it was kind of cool to find a book or to see a book that was slightly similar in some things that it did on the International Booker Longlist. That's just awesome. Now that I've read it, I feel like this is the one I'm most sad didn't make it to the long list. Anyways, all that being said, do the Booker Frog and I recommend this book? And yes, we do. Yay! Finally. I feel like it's been a minute. If you like short story collections, I highly, highly, highly recommend picking this one up. So yeah, I hope that you liked this video, and if you did, be sure to subscribe so that I can see you back here tomorrow.